Good evening. Welcome back to Bigfoot Scrimcast. Had to take Sunday off last week for, I don't know, let's just call it personal reasons. And basically didn't sleep on Saturday night and I didn't sleep on Sunday daytime. So there was nothing I could do. But yeah, we're back here every Sunday now. Last couple of weeks of the league, and looks like the emulator's updated a little bit. I think the new update might be more streamlined for emulator. They might have consciously programmed in some efficiency for emulator play, so I've smashed the graphics right up, and this might be the highest quality stream yet, but we'll have to see how it goes. And it's really good to be back here and alongside Highland Wolf. How's it going there, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's another night here for 3 epic games, and as you say, it's a second last week here, Bigfoot, and we got some epic action still to come and some epic plays from these teams that they're going to need to make. And starting off with the league standings as usual here, Bigfoot, we do obviously see Animal Lion at the top here, as again, with 376 points, but behind them is this 318-point team SAS, and of over 58 points behind first place. They have had strong performances here and there, and I think if they manage to find some 3 consistent performances here tonight, they could take this away. They challenged them last week, game number 2, couldn't pull it off game number 3 to close that gap, which needs to be moving into these nights.
Yeah, so we can just run down the scores right now. AMZ Lions 376 first place, SAS in second place with 319, Team Incognito with 278 in third place, RAF Blue 249 fourth place, Pen Game Over 196 fifth place. So it's looking like these top 3 teams are going to stay the top 3 teams, maybe fourth place shifting up, but Game Over will not be able to catch up. So right now it is between AMZ, SAS, Incognito and RAF Blue. AMZ wanting those kills and disappointed there's only 15 it looks like actually only 13 teams showed up tonight, so AMZ a little bit disappointed with that, wanting to get that cannon fodder and get those kill points up.
But so is everyone else here, and we also have to look at, although we don't obviously have the top, only the top teams are going to be able to get that top spot, but on the other end of that leaderboard, we also have the Task Force squad. They were at 7 points now behind 5th place of the Game Over squad from the Penetrate League here. And I think Penetrate Game Over, they've been glued to this 5th spot position for 4 weeks now. Task Force has been going up and up every single week, and if it plays out like it has in previous weeks here, we could see Task Force even going higher to that top 5 position going into that final week.
Could be pretty interesting. And right early on in this game, we do have a double Los Leones drop. It looks like it might be the only clash so far in drop zones. With only 13 teams, everyone's managed to get very easily spread out right now. And we've got Klein from Elves overlooking Menace here, and maybe we're soon to see this fight break out.
Yeah, and that playing path there as well, going into the start of this game, really does force these players towards these main locations. It was a very westerly playing path going down from the south side of Porto Palacio towards the trailer park. And with this zone also to the north, it's going to affect these teams that have dropped on early over to, as you say, Los Leones, where the side of the Elves there and also Pen Gunners will be potentially fighting out this 1-3 split with Wolf in the backside.
Penetrate here. Carbon just Murdoch, sorry, just stood in the corner of a room. Finally, some shots start to get fired, and that will be Menace starting to take a little bit of damage. Probably from Klein there, maybe from Kavesh on the rooftop.
Yeah, look at the split though here from the LC. Have this pincer 2-2 formation with Kresh and Kran on the other side, and Waz and Klein closer towards Menace and Carbon. And with Murdoch there, 2 buildings behind Menace and Carbon, it's gonna force him to perhaps make this quick rotation out, especially as Waz looks to be trying to make downstairs and perhaps across that road a little bit closer towards his targets. Obviously, Wolf not there with the side of Pen Gunners here, so it will be obviously this split team in this split squad here for the Pen Gunners side, and with Elf moving in, also Quan and Kavesh have moved off from their rooftops, and we're going to be moving closer towards around the edges. Quan makes a little head peek there, trying to find a way inside. Also, Waz trying to pincer him down as usual, and I think Murdoch has just regrouped here with Wolf, and they might be looking for a way out here, Bigfoot, especially considering that now they're down to only 2 members versus the 4.
Yeah, very tricky situations. The rest of the teams sort of spread out very much around this map still. Everyone's got plenty of time, so when we do see fights, that aside from this penetrate versus the elves, it's not going to be that sort of early game scramble for loot and survival fights. Everyone's going to be pretty much fully kitted up when it comes to their own clashes. Who's coming in? Is that Wolf coming? Yeah, Wolf comes in with a truck, so they've got a getaway now, and penetrate still eyeing off with elves. And if you're listening to me right now in the chat, please let me know if you can, and if you're a long-time viewer especially, please let me know if you can see a noticeable difference in the graphics right now, because when I logged on today and checked the settings, there was a new frame rate setting, and I can run HD and the highest frame rate. I'll just actually show you right now, look. It's gone green. I never used to be able to do HD Extreme. The graphics are looking nicer, the frame rate's looking much nicer for me right now. So if you notice that, just give a shout out in the chat that it's definitely better on YouTube as well as my emulator right now. That'll be good to know.
Well, I'll tell you what is looking pretty good as well is this kind of ZPX and Team Clown squads towards the north side in this zone as well. Bigfoot, they have been 2 dominant teams, especially with Team Clown taking a really dominant victory last week in those games. So I'm expecting big things from this team, who have only appeared towards the end of this league in Season 2, Bigfoot. But they have always secured a spot inside the zone. They secured a spot in the middle of the action here. It will play out later in this game.
Kvesh almost down by Menace there. Menace using the 6x and single tapping the AKM here. And one more bullet and that would have actually been Kvesh right down.
Yeah, close call, and that could have been the engage that perhaps Pen Gunners were looking for, but we can't quite find it just yet. And it is just going to be this long, drawn-out fight. And you talked about the loot here, but interestingly enough, they weren't inside Los Leones to begin that fight. And an excellent headshot onto Menace, going to take down one member of the Gunners squad. And now it's going to be this 3 versus 4 situation. But what can the side of Els do now with 2 knockups? Will be Carbon looking to be firsted out here. Klein going to confirm that first kill on the board for the first game. In fact, is Murdoch now going to be the one that's split away from their team. And I think the plan of action should be from Pen Gunners here, Bigfoot, just to cut their losses. They've lost 2 members already, and they need to try hope that obviously Wolf and Menace can try escape. It's a long run for Wolf to get through, and there's this open area between Wolf and the building to get to Murdoch, which elves can take advantage of.
Are they going to take advantage of it? That is the question. It looks like Menace is back up healed. Klein and Waz have pushed quite far and could be caught out by a side angle of Wolf or Menace. Headshot there. Murdoch goes down. Kvesh is knocking the headshots out, and Klein and Waz going to push up that building with Wolf desperately scrambling for support, but the best thing for Wolf to do right now is camp the exit of the top window, because I don't think Murdoch's going to be savable with a flank, unless it's a flank of the century, but Wolf does take some shots there. Now Klein and Waz distracted by Wolf, and this could be Wolf's demise, getting pushed from 2 sides, and Wolf does go down. Instantly going to be bled out, I think. Menace, last one standing.
This is just mistakes, unfortunately, coming out from the Gunners squad, costing them this 13th and last place position here in this first game tonight. I don't think, as I say, Wolf and Murdoch should have been there to try contest. sorry, you knew that Murdoch was dead, so Wolf and the teammate there, they should have just backed off. They shouldn't have really fought in that situation. Unfortunately, Menace and Wolf gonna fall down, and as you say, that will be the entire Pen Gunner squad. And Los Leones in charge for the Elves, but moving around the rest of this map, still no team has taken control of Picado Hill, which would have excellent vision advantage, especially towards that south end of the map here into this play zone. You see teams coming into Picado, see teams moving around that entire southern end, which is going to be really important as you do see members towards the west side. You see actually Task Force here, making their move towards east, actually.
Here we have Task taking some shots here. RAF here as well. Raphael, YTB, Metalor making them break away from this situation after already losing Ovi Bray's RWS there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting split, but I don't think that the fight will really come out here. Bigfoot, I think that this Impala and actually Los Leones kind of split from the side of will be RAF Blue here, but I think won't cause them to fight. They're perhaps just looking for a way around, scouting with Torek there to get away inside of that zone, but where the action's really going to be is up towards this play area, where we now see Incognito making their way closer towards this Hacienda del Patron compound, and perhaps with teams trying to control the mountainsides around the area for the high ground advantage, and these teams moving into the center of the zone.
Yeah, it looks like Incognito managed to steer away from those gunshots there. They could have been pinned by SAS. Or SAS going to get that long spray though. They are trying to into guard right now, but
look like Danny can find them, but they have evacuated out of that area safely, and they will get out of harm's way with guard being that final member to make it inside the zone. But the team that I really have my eye on here, Bigfoot, is actually the side of Salty Potatoes. They have an excellent position here inside the center of zone, ready for that second phase shift on the hillside of water treatment. And with this advantage on the high ground, they're going to see all these teams moving into Hacienda, and also the likes on the opposite hill there of AMZ are leaders, as we said, going into these couple final nights. Still on the rest of the map, see the side of RAF Blue there making their western rotation in, as well as Task going to make their way into zone. Now we're going to see this second phase shift, Bigfoot, and it will be just centralizing itself further into Hacienda del Patron and the water treatment. So now we're going to see actually perhaps Team Cloud, who secured the Hacienda del Patron edge of the compound there, but if they start having teams jump on top of them, they could be in danger, but also equally around this mountainside could be stirring for trouble here with these three different teams on the western side of this zone.
In 2 days' time, we will have the Erangel update. So on the last day of the season for this league next week, we will be able to see an Erangel a new Erangel map. I might even ask Duck if we could do a triple Erangel game just to really check out the map and finish off the season with a bit of something a little bit different. Really excited for it. They've been talking about it for a long time. It's taken them a while, and after deleting 1,800,000 hackers, it looks like they've got round to getting the Erangel map 2.0 uploaded.
That's what you have to do to upload a map. You have to delete and save some space on your servers. You know, you got to make space to get rid of all those player profiles. 1.8 million gone, and now you got space for the Erangel map, and you can install that into your servers, and then you can spread that out to the rest of the legitimate players.
Oh, there we have Vidma smashing down onto Rebel. Rebel jumps out the car and fires back with the AKM no-scope. Man after my own heart. That's one of my favourite weapons right now. And Vidma over there behind the rock going to get healed up and maybe send some more shots down. Where are the rest of Incognito? And how are they going to deal with this situation with AMZ pulling up? And they're just currently all locked in one concrete building there.
Yeah, there we go. AMZ with this close-knit four-man move now with, obviously, Hazy, and it does look like the Scuba making perhaps a little bit of a poke out, trying to find a vision onto Incognito, but an interesting split from Incognito. Guard there, trying to flank down the rest of the side of AMZ, straight into the door of that building they're hiding in. And also, you see another rotation of closer to perhaps Vidma here, who's now flanking him from this entire line that we see Incognito taking control of.
AMZ absolutely desperate not to have a bad game and a 0-kill early wipe. So they're going to be doing everything they can to stay alive, but Incognito do have them surrounded and they are all in one position without an extra flank or other angles covered. Matas very low, Rebel gets hit a little bit. Osmeskis has been hit low too, but God is over by Osmeskis, ready for the rev if that does happen. And Bodejas and Vidma covering another angle. Right now, Incognito look like they've got the advantage by covering more angles.
And I definitely think that Bodejas moving towards Vidma made a lot of sense. Vidma had a really good angle with Guard on the other side to try to pinch the AMZ outside of that building. And with the 2-2 split, it allows them, as you say, to revive a teammate if they do fall down. That grenade with the long-range distance of Incognito not going to land at all. And neither Incognito going to land, be able to get a grenade onto AMZ. So these teams still need to make either move closer to the enemy here to try find some more success with these throwables. While this holds out here, can Steve actually also decide over SAS, the final real team here, to make it inside of his second phase zone? But on the other side, it will be on this kill feed and Rafali getting a knock up, and perhaps Rafali going to get a second here with the help of the side of, well, our blue here, should I mention, here onto the side of Elves, as they will confirm a knock-up through that kill feed, but still going to keep an eye on Rebel here, who has gone a little bit lower. Incognito, they're making another rotation round with Bodejas, trying to find another angle, and AMZ smartly not letting this up. They know that the distance between them and Incognito is what's saving them from Incognito in this open area from being able to press them and just run them down.
Yeah, Incognito might want to push a little bit closer if they really want to secure these kills, but at the same time, they can just keep them pinned until it's time for AMZ to move. And they can just wait this one out. There's a lot of different ways to play this, and shots are just being traded backwards and forwards here, eating into armor and eating into medication. So far, I do feel like it's pretty equal shot for shot on either team. And Incognito really trying to surround AMZ right now.
Yeah, you see them trying all different types of things. They tried the line formation, now they're trying to go for the back line formation with Bodejas Guard moving a slight bit around the backside of AMZ. They try to find a knock-up, and they find one poking through, but Guard can't quite find a knock-up here at all, just low health bars. And now with Guard half health as well, they have to heal up, and it's going to be this reset now, as we see Incognito trying all sorts of rotations here to try take down AMZ.
Yeah, and that was just typical PUBG mobile bugs there. It was as far as I could see, it was hitting the ground when it should have been hitting through. And had that been PUBG PC, that might have actually been a double knock there. But most of those bullets just went into the dirt, and AMZ got away with their lives.
Yeah, AMZ, they are being pinned so slowly. You see Incognito making these smart rotations in. They have gained ground on AMZ, but now comes the time that we have to talk about these throwables, which we were talking about. If the gap does get closed, Bigfoot, will Bodejas be vulnerable to these grenades coming down from AMZ? Will Guardian get a bit closer? followed up, but instead it does look like AMZ almost going to suffer enough. They have to be so careful here. But Incognito continuing their aggression onto Rebel might just be shot down by Vidma, but can't quite find it. And with that unfortunate fail on Vidma, they're not going to find that knock-up, and still 4 members of AMZ stand.
Looks like Botejas has gone off to get a vehicle, and because there hasn't actually been a knock yet, they probably don't know who they're fighting on either side. Just lots of health reductions, but no real knock-ups.
Yeah, very unfortunate, and I think now that we do see this third phase shift, very kind towards this first game so far, Bigfoot is going to centralize around the center area. And this is where we talked about Solid Potatoes earlier. Having this advantage in the high ground, they have the hill on water treatment overlooking the road to the north side. They have the western and the southern side controlled, with Incognito moving into their hill, and also the side of Pen Game Over, as we mentioned, opposite them. For SAS, they are going to secure that first initial knock-up themselves. They need to get down on the south side of the map, and that's going to allow SAS also equally away into this third phase zone. It's been slightly running away from them. They've been struggling to catch up.
Incognito choosing zone there above the fight, and they made their way out. And I would have liked to have seen them gatekeep AMZ, but maybe if they did have the knowledge of who it was, they would have stuck around. But it actually also looks like they had a flare gun, and that could have been why they made the move. Didn't want to leave the flare gun too late, and they're going to pop it off right here in this compound. It might not even be surprising to see AMZ push this flare. I know if Rebel's seen the flare, he's going to want to be pushing it.
Well, you know, you don't want to be having someone with an AWM on the top of the hill sniping down your team. That's not what we want to see if you're that enemy trying to make it up to the top of that mountainside. But Team Clan equally the other team inside this zone with the high ground advantage, and they will be difficult to take down for SCS, but SCS are the second position team. They were the victors of Season 1 Clan Wars. They know how to take a building when they're on top form, and we just want to see that aggression. I think if they just show a bit more aggression, maybe go into different vehicles if they have it, and then try take down Team Clan from either side, they can perhaps pinch them.
SAS really been edging a lot of these games. Really seems to have been their tactic this league, is to just edge their way in and make sure they get to that last circle. And we can see them right now on the edge of the south side, shooting a couple shots off at Team Klaus. They've let them know of their location. The airdrops came down. It's been emptied. So just have a little scout around on Incognito and see what they might have got.
Incognito's surely going to be happy with whatever they will have got, especially that armor and the helmet moving in towards the later area of the game. Going to allow them to tank a little bit more shots going their way. So, but Legolas going to find that knock onto Task Force there on the north side as well. So teams continuing just to kind of edge their way in slowly, but kind of poke down each other, but still 12 teams. We've only seen Gunners fall down earlier on for a couple mistakes, but this is where we start to talk about perhaps the synergy of these teams, the decision making, the proactiveness. And I think what we have seen actually from SAS here moving into the second season, they have had the individual skill to make the plays, but as a team, the synergy has always been a question. I think that has let them down. And if they want to take down AMZ, they want to get this first place position, they still have an opportunity to get that in these final 2 nights. They're going to need to come together as a team and really rack up these kills, starting with Team Clan. But you know, will be AMZ with a knock up onto Game Over as they perhaps try to gatekeep them from the water treatment hill.
It's good to see most of these teams have made it into the end circle. We kind of did expect this with the low team count. We've actually only lost 1 team so far, so we've just been patiently waiting with these rotations. And Osmezgus manages to get down Team Clown with a great M24 shot, AWM shot there. And now shooting down on AMZ, who have actually made it to zone as well. And there goes AMZ Describe. Osmezgus killing with the AWM right now.
Yeah, the Scribe unfortunately going to be knocked, and that will cost AMZ. They hadn't made that proactive rotation that Incognito had instead into now this phase 4 zone, and they are going to be one gatekeeped outside of it, with the hillside also belonging to Incognito with that height advantage. But Task Force have completely ran over the top of Team Clown on this hill, and it does look like, with the help of Incognito, Team Clown, they're now in a sticky position.
But down in Hacienda, I can see through the scope of Osmezgus, White is knocked, Marina is also knocked. Team Clown look like they're holding down the fort pretty well, but Osmezgus gets another headshot on Klaus. Absolutely murdering. That is 3 knocks with the AWM since picking it up in a very short space of time.
That's what we talked about. We talked about the AWM, didn't we? We talked about the one-shot potential, Bigfoot, and that's what they're putting their work towards. And AMZ also making their rotations, but have been spotted out by Incognito. Gonna try being first up, and then shot misses from his Meskis, and that's gonna cost him. That's gonna allow AMZ away into this game here, into this next zone. But just as we say into this zone, in a short while, that's gonna move down to phase 5. And then we're going to see these teams really have to run it down into this new areas. It will shift in favor of Team Clan and Task. This man on site going to be all of where the action will be. The shots flying here as AMZ will find a knock-up of their own, desperate now to try take down SAS, perhaps with Rebel making their way in to try gatekeep a team outside, but inside it will be Andrex getting knocked here, as also we will see perhaps a second knock-up. Team Clan trying to split down, try to take down another one. Yes, he will. Marina will fall, but now Marina will be bursted down, and Task gonna struggle here. Now just down to 2 members, 1 down. Andrex, it doesn't matter, because White's going to be shot through the window by Team Clown Klaus. And even should I say, and that will be the entire side of Task Force wiped out. And Team Clown need to reset here, because shortly soon they will have perhaps Elf knocking on their doorstep.
So that's going to be really good for them. And on the edge of the map here, just outside the zone, you can see the only 2 gods are Grease players. And looks like they've managed to finish off Cons there. Cons, and yeah, it does look like Penetrate. Game over here, pinned out on this gas station without too much of a way out. I hope they've got a vehicle to speak of. They do have a truck, but they've got a bus, but it's going to be tricky to get out of here, getting pinned by August and Achilles. And there is also Snipes and Co. then up on the hill, also trying to pin them. Pretty tricky escape for them to make, but luckily Xeno Tactics are making their way into zone now and not spending too much time with the pin. So it is only August and Achilles who will also have to turn around and make their way to zone in a second. And right down in the south side of zone, there is an awful lot going on. SAS pulling up onto Elves.
And well, Elves is going to be wiped out there, Bigfoot, because he couldn't make their way down the mountainside. SAS made that rotation in, but AMZ are also making a second team here, third party into Happy End's compound on the mountainside here on the edge of the city. And this will be Team Clown still trying to control this top side, but teams need to make a way inside. And with AMZ here trying to take them down with the help of Incognito, perhaps they can find it. SAS also going to try find a way, as you say, edge their way into this final couple zones. Incognito are going to struggle. Team Clown trying to rain down upon AMZ. They will find Rebel there. That will be 1 knock-up, but couldn't quite find the Scribe. Has made it underside of that rocking, but is being targeted here. Has to be careful. ZPX also finding one on SAS. SAS don't know which way to turn, and SAS can't do a takedown. Team Clown can take down ZPX. Which way do you go? Because that zone's ahead of you, and Danny down, Psycho down, Friday gonna be next to fall. Will he fall though? And will he be able to? So he's pinned down, low health. He has to make a run for it though. Phase 5 coming down at him.
SAS just obliterated in the open there, and you know, you can spend your whole game being careful and making the right rotation, and just one little shot when you're out in the open can take out an entire team there. Maybe a couple clips, and that was SAS pretty much wiped off the map there. And is only Friday standing. AMZ here having a bit of trouble moving into the Team Clown area, but Describes pushing in and manages to knock Goat there. So this is going to be a good opportunity to get a little bit further in. Bilal almost knocked down there. 1 HP for Bilal. The nades coming into the room that they knocked Goat in. Demon getting that rev off, and does buy the chance for AMZ to push closer. Almost inside zone right now, but Team Clown and AMZ, none of them are actually in the circle. And in 17 seconds, that blue is going to start moving in, and it's going to make this an extremely tense situation.
And that's why Rebel and Hazy have made massive aggressive rotations here onto Goat, trying to finish him off with 1 versus 2, but they will secure that knock-up, and this is going to be massive for AMZ, but will Team be able to fend off Incognito or make the way past Sandro. ZPX going to be that scout, will be knocked down. Cal is going to surely fall in the backside. ZPX going to struggle as well. All of these teams here desperate to try and make it into phase 6, and this is where the proactiveness needed to come out for these teams, but that's the advantage that Incognito have had in this game. Incognito sitting comfortably inside of that zone, while Team Clan and AMZ continue to fight. Rebel going to fall down now, but going to be bursted down, and now it's thrown right behind the Scribe. Can he make it around the wall with the help of Hazy? Will they get shot down? Matt is going low, getting picked off. The Clan will find him as Bilal takes down the Scribe as well, and AMZ going to fall down in 5th position. Team Clown, 9 kills. 4th place so far, looking to make it that dominant victory like they just had last week.
Yeah, so AMZ not getting many points that round. Didn't really count a kill for them. They did get 2, but taken out in 5th place with 2 kills isn't going to be the huge boost of points they need to stay ahead of SAS. And should Friday pull off something impressive right now, that will be a big boost to them catching up to AMZ. With 1 more week to go next week as well. This could be a shake-up.
Yeah, Gods of Greece Argus, he needs to do massive work. If they even want to make a way inside of this zone, you see them slowly making their way in, but still a journey and a half to get into safety. Phase 7 now with Friday, that other solo player, but SF has done well to secure himself 4th position, at least at the very best. And Incognito, with the help of Argus, going to be shooting down onto Team Clown, and Team Clown need to be careful as well. They aren't quite in the edge of zone yet. They need to make it down that hillside, and that could be a little more tricky for them with Clouds making that scout run in the lane here. Smoke's coming down. Incognito still in control though.
There goes Argus, clean Team Clown Bilal from the long range there. So Friday does have a chance here, but without watching the right hand side for Incognito, this could be tricky. I think Friday's heard the footsteps. Now it is actually the chance for Friday to... Yep, Friday in 2nd place now.
Yeah, SAS has done so well just to hide out here, but instantly deleted by the side of Incognito. And Incognito, proactive rotations. They make the rotations that they needed to versus AMZ versus Team Clown. Make it into the final zone. Take hold of that chicken dinner.
Could you get screenshots for Duck, please?
Oh man, I just left.
Alright, well, they're on the stream.
They'll be on the stream, don't worry. Just scroll down. It'll be up in 5 minutes. Yeah, but excellent work there from the team of Incognito. They did the work that they needed to, getting a dominant victory, as we say, but so did Team Clan. They did very well, considering that they were the target of a lot of teams that are moving into that final zone. And what saved them towards that final game, and part of that game, sorry, should I say, was the fact they had that high ground advantage. AMZ couldn't make their way up to the top. There was too many open spots leading up to the building which Team Clan controlled, as well as the fact that Incognito, there was a massive open space between them and Team Clown as well. So that allowed the distance that Team Clown needed and the space that it needed to slowly pick off teams, and especially like the task force who tried making that aggressive rotation in, but you see, it did not work out for him at all.
Yeah, but definitely managing to get more points than AMZ in that game. So SAS are slowly, bit by bit, making their way towards the top place. And can SAS pull it off in these last 2 weeks after an entire league of AMZ dominating?
Yeah, AMZ 4 weeks so far have been in top spot, but gonna see how they fare in the next two games, and that will be coming at us in a couple moments. Will be in fact starting over. They surely don't have the time yet, but it will be on a angle nevertheless.
So I'll put some tunes on, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes with the next game for you.
Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Big gunman. Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Big gunman. Shotgun and I'm the backpack. Really big gunman. Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Really big gunman. Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Really gunman. Wait there, now come back, big 45 and I'm the gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Really big gunman. Wait there, now come back, big 45 and I'm the gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Big gunman. Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Big gunman. Now come back, big 45 and I'm a gun back. Big shotgun and I'm the backpack. Big gunman. Now come back,
Hey, hello, welcome back to the second game, guys, of the night here on the Penetrate Clan Wars League. Second to last week here, and we just saw Incognito come off of an amazing chicken dinner there, Bigfoot, with those proactive rotations on Miramar, and moving into the second map here on Orango, second game. Incognito looking to do the same.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to take over, and of course, SAS going to be looking to keep hot on the tail of AMZ. They're going to be another 10, 15 points closer. And with a total of 5 games left in the league, if they can just do that a few more times and maybe even increase it a little bit, they could still take that first spot. So SAS are going to be doing everything they can to overtake AMZ right now. It is a cash prize, and there's a lot of pride involved as well. So we will see how that plays out, but of course AMZ2, very skilled players with the same determination.
Right, that's definitely going to be where it's at. AMZ going to be looking just to try get these high placement points, but this second game, the playing path looking pretty interesting here as well, Bigfoot. We see it going straight over to South Island towards the edge of Lipovka there to the eastern side, and going to completely mitigate the entire side of Everest down in Port Georgia, Poland Hospital, mitigate the hillside to the side for ruins, and even Potato Hill going to be a little bit of a walk there for these teams. And interestingly enough, what we do see though is perhaps a couple of teams now deciding to drop down into the South Island, which we don't often get to see.
Well, of course, no one actually going for the military base itself, which kind of getting used to that sad fact as time goes on. But Friday's dropped solo to a small compound. The rest of SAS in the slightly bigger compound by the bridge there. Incognito just on the other side of the bridge, and looking like Penetrate game over at Ferry Pier. And then everyone else over on that east side around Milta area, RPG around Farm. AMZ look like they're heading towards Yasnaya Poliana, along with Incognito, and said Paradox in Lipovka, and Task inside Shelter area.
Right, and I definitely think that around the Milta farm area, that's where we expected teams to go, of course, because that playing path was going straight across there. But interestingly enough, what I want to see is actually Gods of Greece, how they're going to fare with just 2 players over in the school area, because obviously they did secure the 4th place position moving in from that first game on Miramar. So definitely expect something coming out of them this second game, despite the fact they've only got Chili's there and Argus. But as you say, Yasnaya Poliana going to be where it's at, because AMZ, the leaders, going to be up against Elves at the start of this game, potentially.
Yeah, and AMZ did drop a bit quicker, pick some guns up straight away, and were instantly firing down on Elves from the get-go. They got a few bullets in, but not enough to get a knock. But that will be annoying Elves and stressing them out a little bit as they try to land here and get their bearings. They're already being shot on from the ground. And AMZ going to probably loot up and just aggressively push straight forward.
Yeah, I definitely expect AMZ to move further forward. They are far back towards that road. And an interesting, obviously, 1-3 split coming out of both teams. Rebel for AMZ and Quan for Elser. So the vision game is in play for both of these squads. Smart decisions there from both of them. And the rest of those 3 members going to be on the backside, looting up those back-end buildings before, as we say, we potentially go for that fight over in Yasnaya. Rebel going very close to that roadside and potentially perhaps a flank onto Quan.
Rebel very often the first one forward. And yeah, getting pretty close here to, who's the closest right now? Yeah, to Quan here, so just got to cross this road and they're going to be right up in each other's grills.
Yeah, definitely want to see some of that early game action. We've been thirsting for it, Bigfoot. We had to wait all of that 21 minutes just to trying to see these teams fall down one after another like dominoes in that first match. And moving around the rest of this map, though, we have seen this zone going to be very friendly once again to these players, as it will circle around the center of that main island. But interestingly enough, Game Over have a potential opportunity down in the south end if they want to try gatekeep SAS on side that Ferry Pier, especially considering SAS are perhaps going to move towards Ferry Pier, as you see them crossing on the south side over towards that edge. Rest of these teams here continuing to loot up is expected. Obviously, only 13 teams tonight, but still not going to ignore the action. It's going to come out later in this game. We're just going to ramp it up a little bit. We got to get the energy vibing here, Bigfoot, to get into this second game. And interestingly enough, we talked that Georgia Pole Everest would be out of play, but Incognito, we talked about these early rotations. They're already over there towards Everest and towards the south of Ruins area.
Not sure if SAS are making a rotation to Primorsk or if they're actually just making a full clockwise rotation from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock to get to Severny. Honestly, SAS will not surprise me to rotate to Severny right now, and it does look like that's what they're doing, so that will be a very interesting rotation from Sosnovka Island to Severny in a boat coming out from SAS, providing they've got enough fuel for that. Is it all of them in one boat as well? Yeah, it is all of them in one boat. This is hilarious.
Yeah. I think that's a smart decision, though, to do it early on, because obviously you spend so much time if you are going to make it towards the 6 o'clock position there, from all the way to 12 o'clock. But it does look like they're going to stop by over in Primorsk, instead make their way through land, potentially get a couple of vehicles off of Primorsk that hasn't been looted up, loot as well, of course, and make their way into the zone from there. But still no knock-up, still no kills, still this second game, and Elves also look like they don't want to fight over in Yasnaya. They have pulled back away from AMZ. There's 2-1-1 split with Kwan and Waz, just making sure that AMZ aren't doing any funny business, making their way closer to them.
Yeah, it looks like they're making their way apart now, putting some distance between them, so that early encounter is not going to go too far, and it does actually, SAS have pulled up in Primorsk, so maybe they're just going to get some fuel to make sure they can make the whole journey, or maybe they are going to drive up the west road to Georgia Pole and edge in from the west. But like I said last game, they are fans of edging, and they are really trying to chase these points right now, so they're not going to play too aggressively as far as their rotations are concerned, and they might just be taking their time here. But via road or via water, I'm expecting them to come in from the west edge or the north edge and try and make it to that last zone.
But what I would interestingly want to see teams do is take control of this northern edge of Erangel here. There isn't got any team currently inside of it. Obviously, you loot up in Rotok, you loot up in Yasnaya Polina, if Yargos Greece or AMZ there, Animals Lions, and you make your way across that bridge and instead go along the hillside. But finally, we do see Team Clown potentially getting a kill up, perhaps a second knock up now onto the side of Salty Potatoes down on Milter Power. That's where the action is going to start to kick off. This 4-man surround from Team Clown onto Salty Potatoes. Excellent positioning here with Goku from the north side.
Salty Potatoes managed to find some cover there away from Bilal, but they're kind of pinned now with 2 knocks, and oh days, Venom goes down. That is 3 knocks. Team Clown, Klaus pushing in for the last kill against Snipes. Molly in the top, but it needs to go in the bottom.
Yeah, they try to make their way around, but they don't really know where Team Clown are, and unfortunately, from behind, Demon going to take them out, and that will be the first blood and the first team down. Salty Potatoes going to be a little bit salty about that one, moving their way into Sandhawk later on in game number 3, but right now, game number 2, Erangel. Team Clown looking strong once again. We saw them with over 10 kills there in the first game, and starting off strong with 4 so far already.
Task taking Rozhok Hill here. Already got hold of an AWM. And Gods of Greece, Argus and Achilles across the way. Andrex is down, but that probably won't last too long.
Yeah. AMZ as well, making their way up to the north side. This is what I wanted to talk about, this positioning, and you see the vision control over that bridge, over Yasnaya from teams coming out of it, as well as the vision onto Rozhok, as well as on the north side. If you follow along to the west side, you will see that connection there on these roads, and you see what we often see, a little bit of a compound, a bit of a contested area north of Everest, where teams will like to control. Because of its positioning, you have access to 3 different waypoints that teams will come at you from, as well as positioning over ruins, as well as positioning over the side of that entire northern area of Georgia Pole. MZ, though, they're going to follow up with what I've kind of suggested here. Going to hold off to north side. And Task, been known to be aggressive. They have gotten all these points because they're so aggressive in these couple of weeks beforehand, climbing up the leaderboard strongly and looking to try, obviously, take away that 5th place position from the side of Game Over. But they've got a lot of work to pull off here. And I think they might have their matchup here, these first 2 kills, if they can just surround the Chili's and Argus, which they seem to be doing very strongly so far. As ZPX also on the other side on the kill feed, going to be taking down RPG. Will be Team 14. RBG. Oh, sorry, should I say RAF Blue? Excuse me.
Wow. Big potatoes there from White. Took the whole clip to get Argus out there, but Argus will go down. And yeah, and it's important to note that Task haven't played anywhere near as many games as Game Over, so them being just not so far behind is quite a strong position for them. And should they enter the next league from the start, then it could get pretty intense in the top 3. They're probably going to end up in the top 3 if they join this next league and play aggressively as this throughout the whole season.
But we have made a couple mistakes. Andrex has been knocked. White missed that grenade. Will now unfortunately force Andrex out of this game perhaps, but Chili's not able to finish him off, and Andrex, with that slight rotation around the building towards where White can cover him, is a smart, quick decision from Task to recover on their mistakes. And now Chili's have to try to find White, and for that first, they're going to be punished with White taking him down, and also Gods of Greece going to fall down, making 11 teams here in this second game.
What's going to be interesting as well is as SAS drive up this west road like we suggested, it would look like they might be coming in from the same angle as Penetrating Game Over, looking to move in from the west. And they're going to have to clash, and really, if Penetrate don't cross the Georgia Pole Bridge and hang around that area, there will be an encounter. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that west side of the map and see how these 2 teams advance and rotate.
Excuse me, and we will see, obviously, Roshawk here going to be obviously controlled by Task Force. So Task Force, they are going to be that team in control of our compound, but also going to have a target on their head now, like Gods of Greece just had against them. Because Incognito, they're sitting on the edge, AMZ to north side. If that zone does shift hard away from Task, they're going to have a difficult time making their way out. And equally, if it rotates closer into Roshawk, there's still Pen Gunners and Team Clown on the outskirts a little bit further away. They could also completely surround them with 4 different teams.
Oh, White! I love that. I love it when someone gets sprayed or a sniper at them, and instead of taking cover, they turn around and switch on them. And now White is making the solo push towards the entire Incognito team.
Well, this is ballsy. If I ever saw balls here come out from White, and they dash there, they're going to make their way into first. White going to have to try 1v1 here with this message now being revived. Going to be a 1 versus 4 situation, but can White do it? They're behind the thing, and no, the vehicle will not be enough. Unfortunately, they get quick knocked up, and that will be Incognito punishing that heavy mistake with Task. Andrex also knocked him now. Call Me Bob going to be that 3rd player down, and with Andrex just reviving up, White just healing back up. They're going to return the favor onto Garden, but they just now making the rotation round, but the vehicle's now going to be blown up and take down White as well with it. And Andrex the only one alive. Can he finish him off with Bidmouth from the top end? As Messmith coming down, but Dejas is going to be knocked as well. Now I'm going to make a 2 versus 1 situation. White trying to come back over to Andrex. Can they find this revive? But Osmestis coming around the edge. They're going to try to deny this away as Bidmouth also coming in for the edge. And that will be Andrex knocked up, and that will be Task Force down in 11th position. And Incognito barely survived there, 2 versus 1.
Yeah, that was great stuff there. Task just fooling around, I think, right now, just trying to push out all the aggression. And yep, we do have on the west side, we just seen Devious getting knocked there. Cons is also down. SAS pushing in on this location that we thought might happen. And luckily, there's space and breathing space to get the rev onto Cons, but Devious has been bled out, unfortunately. Friday holding a very interesting angle on the side here, and you've got Danny across the way, and Q quite far away from this fight, but with a nice 4X, going to be able to still get an angle off on a Penetrate. Game over, and it looks like they're going to retreat right now inside this UAZ. Rasa Best almost dead, wants to get a medkit in. One thing I have noticed since this update that the graphics have gone is there's a tiny bit of desync. Headshots take a millisecond to happen, as did Rasa Best's health there in the top left, so Sometimes some gains come at an expense of something else. Tiny bit of desync here, but much more beautiful graphics on this emulator.
Yeah, well, we do want it to look pretty for us at the end of the day. And Friday, going to be this new player as well for SAS making their way in. Is they're going to try finish off Cons. Unfortunately, did get caught out there with the rotation game over. They're trying to make perhaps a way and around the side of SAS, and we talked about their synergy, we talked about how would they be, and especially with this new player on their roster. But I think SAS have proven strong so far, and they just need to confirm these final 2 games in high positions, high kills now they're going to need, because AMZ also finished fairly late into that first game. But SAS, they now make their rotation through Georgia Paul. They're going to leave Penn game over, and they will make their way inside of now this phase 2, going to be phase 3 soon zone.
They could have saved Cons. For whatever reason, they turned around, threw a random grenade, and maybe Cons said, just go, leave me. But there was definitely space to save Cons, what with SAS driving away, but they did play the precaution, and they... Oh, Rosabess is giving me a headache with that, oh my god. And they've lost 2 players now, making the rotation round to the south side. SAS looking comfortable. They've only lost Psycho, so that probably is 1 kill over to SAS game. It's a penetrate game over. And we're going to look over at the Gunners now, who are pretty close to AMZ, right? In this north side of the map, and the zone is still steadily in the north. Probably going to center around AMZ and Wolf's location.
Yeah, interestingly, we have made that rotation round the west bridge there and made their way closer to AMZ. As we talked about this north area, as this zone continues to shift further north, going to be in favor, especially for teams potentially crossing out of Roshawk around the bridge on from Yasnaya Poliana as well. Option for AMZ to take down with Division Game on top of that hillside, but Incognito also potentially going to have to make their way round, and Team Clown doing the same down on that south end. As teams continuing to make their way closer into this zone, but still is with 10 teams alive, no one quite finding each other. But in the south end, I think Team Clown need to watch their positioning, because they could very easily find themselves between either of these 2 teams in between.
Yeah, Team Clown right between Incognito and oh, trying to get over there, sorry, are they dead? There we are. So here we have Paul Barzai, Snipe, Ukrai, Legolas, and Moose. And they're actually going to leave. So Team Clown aren't so surrounded right now. But they're moving towards Elves and Yasnaya. Elves haven't left Yasnaya since they dropped, but AMZ have headed straight to the center of the zone.
Well, I like this rotation here coming out from the side of... It will be, of course, RPG Rat Pack, especially that proactive rotation with that zone moving in. They risked it all now. They have position down in the south end, and so I cut you off there. What were you want to say? Like,
What? No, it's all chill. Just mentioning how we can see the 2 different styles of the Yasnaya drop, with AMZ heading center zone and Elves staying put.
Well, look at this.
And now,
north end, though.
And now the zone moves straight back to Elves. And maybe they made the right choice by not moving. But yeah, Ant-Man, the captain of ZPX, is down. And there is also a knock for RAF here. Metalol, and that will be RAF gone.
Yeah, RAF runs straight down by ZPX. Very aggressive in this northern side, and that's what these rotation shifts do to these teams. They force these rotations out that they perhaps want to make, especially from AMZ and Incognito. We see also the side of Team Clan making their way across the bridge, and we see potentially Incognito, the street on top of AMZ here. I like Incognito though, as Meskis Vidma, they're making their sights. Another angle here on the hillside, potentially already looking for a flank onto AMZ on this low ground, which is smart, looking over this compound, which AMZ did take obviously control first, so they will have the advantage moving into this zone here. But Also, elves making their rotation in towards Incognito, and this is where we start to see the fights break out. This is where we wanted to see the action happen towards the late game. Now we're 20 minutes in here, but we see these teams just be forced on top of each other, Bigfoot.
Yeah, and Elves pushing right in right now, but there's shots coming out. They're going to have to keep driving. They don't want to contend. They do want to contend. As they pull up, Klein gets knocked straight away. Rebels receiving some shots from up the hill from Incognito. Might buy Elves some time to get Klein back up, but Rebel is thirsty for blood. Knows the location of the knock and is going to try and finish off as Hazy goes around the outside. And it does look like Hazy's going to jump around this corner and finish it off with one spray of the AKM. And there go Waz and Klein. Hazy getting both those kills and doing this all amongst the spray from the hill there. Incognito spraying down. Describe has been knocked by guard. Quan is down. And Describe is also getting thirsted out there. Incognito in a very powerful Overwatch position. Third partying this accidental clash when Elves pulled up on AMZ.
Well, the leader of Elzek Fetch, the only one to escape, and will have to be careful, as you say. Incognito on that hillside, they could be looking for a juicy pickup here to get themselves on the leaderboard for kills in this second game. Fetch does make that smart rotation away from the hillside, though, possibly understanding it. Incognito did already take that location, but on the north side, ZPX going through that hillside, there will be a team to watch if they move down closer south, especially considering his zone very shortly will start to close in. But for a phase 3 zone, these are hard shifts, and these are forcing these rotations in these fights over these teams.
SAS start inside of the other Penetrate team now, getting a knock on to game over, but now standing and healed. Murdoch nearly on full health, but will Incognito be able to upset AMZ and provide another window of opportunity for SAS right now?
They need to do this for SAS, but also for themselves. Team Incognito are in third place, don't forget, Bigfoot, so they're also going to be looking to try get these kills, get these play points to overthrow SAS themselves. They are very close towards SAS, and SAS do need to watch out they don't lose the second position, especially considering, of course, Incognito took that chicken dinner in the first matchup and now have the high ground and the advantage moving into the second game and the end of it. Now this zone shift will pop off, though, and it will be looking like Incognito, as we mentioned, gonna be in control. AMZ are going to have to watch out, of course, for these rotations from SAS and potentially Gunners. Gunners going to make their way over towards ZPX's area of the mountainside as they make their way in. And this will be the clash here, Bigfoot. The next fight potentially, of course, with Gunners making their way straight over the top of ZPX as they race their way down over this hillside as well. And now the fight's going to break out. Will we see who will be knocked up first? It will actually be Team Clan also making a knock up there. Now ZPX, they make their way over the hillside. Can they take down Gunners? They're all in one vehicle, and that will be multiple knocks. Find two with Kata there. The vehicle going to be blown up, but not going to find anyone. And now they have to try and revive each other. And very, very lucky they weren't punished even harder by ZPX, who just got there a couple seconds too late.
Yeah, wow, really intense stuff for Gunners to be going through right now, right on the edge of their seats because they were so vulnerable with the double knocks. But Incognito up the hill didn't quite have the angle to finish them off, and as they managed to put a handbrake turn behind the sniper's nest here, they managed to get the revs on, and ZPX aren't going to want them to get away with that. But ZPX now distracted with Incognito up on the opposite side of the hill, high enough to get that angle off on Incognito, as Rasabest and Tarsan also slowly push into one of these final zones. Zone 4 is where it generally starts to get interesting and teams do get pushed together, but we have less teams in this Zone 4 than we had in the Zone 5 of the previous game. 9 teams remaining, 28 players alive.
Well, the tables have turned because now Penn Gunners have control over this rotation from ZPX, but ZPX are aware of this. They're making a hard flank rotation around the edge. They're trying to find an angle in, but interestingly enough, so are also RPG Rat Pack. They're going to suffer with alongside SAS equally being knocked and equal fights happening from every angle here in this fight. Is game over gonna be the Achilles heel for SAS?
Tarzan does get double knocks, managing to get Q and Danny out. Tarzan getting some revenge on SAS for all the games that they've been bullied. Friday here, last one standing. Maybe what we were hoping for SAS is going to be a lot trickier right now. They're going to find it very hard to creep up from 9th place with just one alive.
Oh, but look at Gunners making their way up the hillside, and it does look like game over here. They're gonna have to fight another one, try survive in this second game, because the full squad are making their way up to the mountainside. They're looking for control here, and Incognito, don't forget them, they're still on the edge of this, and Carbon could be a fatty, and Murdoch and Wolf just throwing down though. Tarzan and Ras are best having none of it. Now Murdoch gonna have to try to be revived up, but a grenade gonna come down, and Ras is also gonna be knocked up here, but Carbon has to be careful. Incognito now making moves to try cut off the head of Gunners here. Carbon and Menace getting flanked from both sides. It will be Carbon taken down by another grenade onto Rasabest. Carbon getting knocked up by Bodacious and Osmeskis there as well, and it will be Gunners finished off here very, very close perhaps. Wolf is down, Murdoch's down, only Menace alive.
Yeah, Bodacious about to push forward. Murdoch peaking on extremely low health there.
Will have to try 1v2, but he can't do it. Bigfoot, it will be Incognito finally waking up from their slumber, securing themselves these kill points, and also his guard splits over to Friday, but this is where they're split. And also, if AMZ unfortunately didn't have ZPX in front of them, perhaps they could then be looking at this mountainside that Incognito are distracted by. Team Clown, though, look at this rotation in. Very, very aggressive as well. Team Clown making their way up to the top of this mountainside is going to be where the action plays out. The proactive squad of Incognito, they need to try regroup. Forget game over, Incognito, because you've got other factors here. ZPS also make their way into the zone, but it will be Incognito first to strike with that double strike make. That is Clown's also going to fall down. Team Clown really struggling here with only 5 kills on board, and we've now a kill confirmed against Team Clown, but now just down to 3 members. Bilal and Goku going to try and make their way rotation in, but it's not going to be enough. Cloud's now going to be finished off and down to just half their firepower here at 27 minutes in.
Friday still getting away with surviving, playing it easy right now, hoping that Team Clown don't come too close, but with the positioning of the rest of these teams right now, Friday has yet another chance to push SAS into the top 3.
Look at Rebel, he's driving up the mountainside. He's at a scout that AMZ needed, but he's getting shot. He's getting lit up, and will Incognito be able to find him? That zone's gonna finish him off. And phase 5,
single
Rebel
fire
down. Mattis Hazzy also gonna fall to that blue zone, and Incognito still in control. But keep in mind, they're not in the zone now. Team Clown in the zone, despite the fact they've been pressured hard by this Incognito squad.
Rebel is going to be so angry right now. It seemed to me that he went for the auto spray with the MK, but it was on single tap, and then for whatever reason had to reload from 19 to 20 bullets. Maybe a mistap there as well. So a little bit of technical issues for Rebel. Had that gun been on auto, or had he switched it to auto instead of reloading, then that could have actually been a completely different story, with Z Paradox going out and then Rebel running for zone. But now we have Incognito making this rotation, completely bypassing Friday.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, but they're going to be lit up now, finally, by Team Clown. Friday wasn't the first, but it will be the second coming out from Team Clown team to take down Bitmap, almost down, but now comes the extra rotation, so Incognito down the mountainside they go, but Guard's going to be first knocked up in it. A little bit dicey of a rotation there, but do pull it off successfully, with Goku now being lit up in return. And Friday and Bilal, they're going to be fighting it out for sure, but Bilal needs to try and revive Goku. There's too many players from too many different angles for one player to fight it all off.
Yeah, and Friday has the knowledge on Team Clown, but Team Clown don't have the knowledge on Friday, so he's definitely in a position of power here. Could sneak up slowly and get the knock, but I think Friday's just more interested in surviving right now. Incognito made that long rotation to the other side of the circle. They've got a lot of open space in front of them.
But look at that!
Yeah, there we go. So That will be Clown gone. Incognito maybe spraying down on Kata now, and looks like SAS will be pushing forward to second place again.
Yeah, SES, they're doing so well here, just actually hiding away in the back of these fights. But Friday going to be finally spotted out. No second place for you, because Incognito going to confirm that kill. And ZPX Kata going to be second place, but not for long in this world. As Incognito, a second chicken dinner with all 4 members alive towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and a very high kill count, all the way up to 16 kills. ZPX in second place with 6. SAS 1 kill third place, so surviving just on placement points alone, really, but they are slowly chipping away. AMZ did have 7 kills in 5th place, but I still think that put SAS a little bit further ahead.
But tell you what, Incognito are going to be looking on the clicking on the heels of SAS here, because their third place, they only starting out in tonight's games were actually 48 points behind SAS. So with these dominant 2 chicken dinners, with these kill points on board, they're the team that are going to be looking to try get the second position away from SAS going into this final week.
Yeah, could you grab screenshots there, please?
I will, don't worry.
Thank you, man.
I got it covered this time.
Good. So yeah, still possible for SAS to creep up behind AMZ, and 3rd and 4th place. There's quite a big disparity between them, but that could be interesting too. And just going to double check the scores here on the league standings. Yeah, Team Incognito. Oof. It looks like Team Incognito could overtake SAS though.
Wait,
for second place. Yeah, it's really looking like that. So we'll add up these scores, and the league standings will be online tomorrow about 4 or 5 o'clock on the Penetrate Discord, and in one more week we will see the final results.
Yeah, and definitely going into this final game here, we've not had any team be able to secure 3 chicken dinners in one night. We've seen 2 before. Incognito, they're looking for the first time this league here, Bigfoot, to take all games to themselves.
Yeah, then coming in so strong, and probably going to go for the chicken in this 3rd game as well. So we'll take a little break with some music. We'll be back for this last game of tonight, which is the 2nd last game of the season, and in 2 weeks' time we'll be starting afresh. 0 points for everyone, but how will this season finish? Stay tuned and come back next week. Hello, we are back. Last game tonight inside Sandhawk. Can we see the triple chicken for Incognito?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, my name is Highland Wolf, joined by your boy Bigfoot over on the other side of the casting. And I tell you what, though, we are looking at a very exciting final game for Incognito. The rotations on point for this team and expecting nothing less from this final game in Xanok. But it's going to be a quick fire round in this final game, as it always is here on the Penetrate Clan Wars to finish us off. The action going to be high, and especially if it's zones, which have been kind to us generally so far, start to be a little bit mean, start to be a little bit naughty here, and bring it all the way across the map.
Yeah, so let's see where this flight path's going. Very northerly, so could make some interesting drop patterns. Would be a lot more interesting if we had more teams. As Sandhawk's quite a squished down map, and with a flight path like this, we could have some extreme chaos early on if we had 20 teams or so. But yeah, we're just 13. We'll see how this goes. It looks like does look like Game Over might be heading straight to Ruins. Incognito going straight down to Camp Alpha, possibly. Gods of Greece heading to Pioneer, no surprises there. And Game Over jumping north to Cow or Tap Mock, possibly, as well as Ant-Man. Zed Paradox and Salty Potatoes all heading up to the Cow and Tap Mock area. It actually might all be Cow. Yeah, it is. Let's go to Cow and see what goes down here with 3 teams dropping in.
Well, Cal's barely sustaining one team, but I tell you what Gunners have done in reaction to these teams. They're going over to the edge coastline buildings here to try get a little bit of guns on board, try to get a little bit of healing items on board generally here. But Salty Potatoes, they had a disappointing game. Last place over in Erangel, they're going to be looking to try take down ZPX this time, the second place team, now moving in to try take down Salty Potatoes once again. And ZPX, one of these teams that have been fairly promising so far from these recent weeks, Bigfoot. And I think if we touch up a couple mistakes here in this final game, they could be looking really strong and potentially even challenging Incognito. Fallen there with this split. Going to be an interesting 3-1 split with Nash ahead, but Fallen on the flank side. Going to keep an eye out on 3 members of Salty Potatoes with Venom on the edge of this Cow compound. Not going to be really there for his team, so I'd like Venom to be a little bit closer towards them, as well as it does look like Kwani D going to be making their way around, perhaps a flank potentially as well here, and maybe it's Salty Potatoes, but just don't want to fight it all with Snipes also rotating back.
Fallen's rotating around the outside. Really good maneuver here to get around the other side of them. Maybe even onto the high ground. Nice loot already. But no meds. Only 2 energy drinks. So should Fallen get smashed to pieces with bullets, it's going to be a little bit awkward. Hopefully going to be able to just get a nice surprise angle here. But if Penetrate do push in, they could surprise Fallen and anyone else that's out on this edge of the compound here. But nope, it looks like yeah, Game Over are not thirsty right now.
Yeah, we just had a talk with Penn Gunners earlier between matches here and about the rotations and how they're kind of feeling. And I think they are looking to try and make a little bit of a better rotations, especially to try and match what Incognito seem to be doing, these proactive moves that we need to start seeing. But it will be on the other side, actually. Task Force going to be the ones getting the shots here in the first, to start us off here, sorry, should I say, in the final game here against the L's here, can continue that grenade, excellent grenade up against Waz there as well, and down in the north side of this boot camp area, continuing their dominance, but Andrex has been knocked.
Shouldn't be too much drama for them having Andrex knocked right now, unless Klein first Andrex out straight away. Oh, and you call me Bob's down. Task call me Bob, sorry, call me Bob.
Well, this is where it's going to be problematic, because now they lose Bob, and Andrex just inches away from being deleted out of his final game with Klein on the edge. We do have to watch important Task White there try to carry his teammate, but Klein, one grenade would do it over that window just to eliminate them. Quan trying to look for another angle as well to finish off a second member, but look at Marina there, a flank round the back side, but not going to be fast enough, unfortunately. And with White on the other side. I think White needs to win Marina and get the heck out of there. But a nice shot through that doorway there onto Klein. And now it's even Stevens. Look at that. White aggressive move. Taking down one on Quan. Taking down two with Marina there. Showing up like we needed them to. And Task saved themselves from the couple of mistakes there and the aggression on the front lines. With Marina on the back to help finish it up. Securing himself 4 kills. But unfortunately did lose Call Me Bob. And that will hinder them moving later in. Especially if they're going to continue to try and control such a big and promising compound like Bootcamp.
Yeah. Task super aggressive right now. I don't think they're really trying to dominate the league. I think they're just practicing their aggression, and I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Gunners do the same and just really try and third party the hell out of that cow situation. Zed Paradox on top, 3 of them alive. They would have been on low health. It would have actually been really easy claps for game over if they just got on that south side high ground protecting cow. But they've made that rotation early and going for these later games. Thing I find is in a situation like this is rotations are easy to practice. You can practice them all the time. You can practice them in classics, but scrim aggression you can only practice in scrim situations like that, and especially when there's no chance of getting to the top of the league. It's a great opportunity to really practice those third parties and those aggressive pushes, and I think that's what Task are doing right now, and maybe a couple other teams. But AMZ now, they've moved down from Paradise, and I actually didn't see them drop at Paradise. I just assumed that, and I'm probably right. And Task there looks like they're actually rotating towards Paradise, maybe trying to hunt AMZ down themselves, but a little bit too late as AMZ are making their way to center zone already, and we'll see how these teams get pushed in as this zone starts closing in on them. There's no one really on top of anyone's doorstep right this second, but yet again, SAS very close to game over, and we see this time and time again. It's almost like SAS stalk game over around the league.
They're like magnets towards game over, right? I would have loved to see, though, Task Force, instead of going north, go south, take control of our hillside to the south of boot camp there. You get a vision of also Incognito coming in. You had the high ground advantage of them, and I think they missed out on a little bit of an opportunity there, taking down Incognito, moving in through this L-shaped compound, which is so dominant. I like the Incognito once again making good rotations here. I want Incognito to then take down perhaps settlement towards Painan and Quarry. A hillside there would be advantageous to get control of the vision of the 2 bridges down at the south end, and also keep an eye out on these rotations potentially through Painan. See, no teams really going to fight, but this zone, very interesting, going to shorten down to phase 2 here very, very shortly, but is going to be that southeastern shift on a zone, and we say it will be phase 2 to come now, and it will not be too much of a hard shift for teams down on the hard south end of Sandhawk, but going to be a little bit of movement needed from the likes of RPG Rat Packs that shifts away from them down in favor of, it does look like, RAF Blue. Will be these teams rotating closer towards the center, and I think this is where we're going to see these teams really try control the high ground, and not the compounds but the hills around them. Bigfoot going to be that high ground advantage, try find some vision game on top of the enemies, and especially I like the positioning from RAF Blue here over the quarry. They got vision over the layers of quarry area, and also have vision over the both bridges on the west side, southwest side of these teams moving in. If that zone does continue to shift over to that main eastern side of the island. All these players here, still got 11 teams here. Not seen too much action, unfortunately. We have lost 2 teams so far. Of course, Solly Potatoes did fall down earlier to ZPX. ZPX going to be on 4 kills himself. Task need to make this rotation, unfortunately, all the way down south which I don't really, as I say, know why they rotated up north. A bit of a mistake potentially on their rotation game on this final match, and also not going to see a fight just break out so far from SAS, but Game Over do look like they're wanting it, and they move closer in towards SAS's rotation, and this is where we might see this next fight break out. There's big, massive rock going to be the separator between SAS and Game Over, but Tarzan is scouts for the side of Game Over right now, and the rest of the so should I say Game Over squad making their way closer, but Tarzan going to be 1v1 Psycho down behind a rock, but it doesn't look too much of a challenge. But I say that's the best rotation over onto Friday. Will secure himself a second knockup, and now it's looking a bit dicey for SAS. They looked dominant in the first two games, but we've got a big challenge on board. They do manage to find down Rasabest. They're trying to pick back these knockups onto Tarzan. Devious going to try to finish off Psycho as Tarzan goes in for the assassination onto Q. Will Danny be able to find it? No, they will not just yet. Tarzan's still alive. Devious now making a rotation onto Q, trying to 2v1 his member of SAS. Can he knock him down? That's going to be 3 knocks up with only Danny now alive. Can Danny find a grenade? No, it's going to go wide, and Tarzan will get knocked up. Now it's going to be 1 versus 1. Can Danny take down Devious? The grenade needs to go high. He's cooking up. Can he find Devious? He's trying to strafe left, right, center. Will he be able to find Danny so low? Devious has a health advantage. Now going to cook up a first aid kit. Now he's going to run around. Will find Devious, and that's going to be the entire now squad of Game Over wiped out, and Danny pulling out plays in this 10-minute fight.
That's a grudge and a half developed this season, I've got to tell you that. Like, SAS and Game Over, nearly every single game, and that's no exaggeration. You're talking more often than not, SAS and Game Over have clashed. And honestly, Game Over came out on top a few times, but generally it has gone the way of SAS.
Yeah, SAS, brilliant there from Danny, but also from Psycho there to try relieve pressure from the flank side that Rasabest was starting to put on top of SAS, and with that knock on to Friday. So excellent work to recover from their mistakes, being flanked by Game Over and making that fight go in their favor. 3 kills, but they did lose Q, unfortunately, not without casualties. The zone also going to shift away from this team, so it's not over just yet. And as mentioned, exactly that hillside that we wanted to see controlled for the Southern Vision advantage, Incognito take. Bigfoot, they're taking that hillside, and they're going to have the vision moving into this zone, especially onto SAS and Gods of Greece, which were these teams that needed to still rotate off of the island here.
Yeah, big congestion in the north side. Clown have taken that center area, and Incognito pushing up towards it, but right in the north we've got AMZ, Task, Gunners, and then ZPX pushing down from the north. Everyone's going to hear everyone else's gunshots whenever someone pops off right now, so there is a serious chance for some large clashes as I get another weird gun graphic glitch. Try and get back in here with Rebel. Rebel smashing out White there. Really good 6x spray. Trying to spray through the smoke and finish White off, but not going to be able to just yet. But here we have Andrex Marina. Andrex actually getting sprayed down. I think that's from Penetrate possibly. And this is where we see this congestion of teams really make it tricky for each player here.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Rock's only saving Marina, but a grenade's going to go wide. Unfortunately, not going to finish off Marina and was not cooked enough. So, unfortunately, Hazy not going to find a nice, juicy knockup that he needs to. But nevertheless, it will be now the side of that knockup going over, and that first going to be confirmed. And AMZ still putting that pressure away from Task. And now I think Task need to be careful. We need to be wary of these rotations, especially with the grenades coming wide. White going to be revived up and Andrex going to be alive, but as they say, they have lost Marina. So I think a smart decision would be just to rotate away. They still need to make it fair ways into zone and try to find another way through, but behind them ZPX, and as you mentioned, the guns going to be, and the sounds of these guns going to be also what these players will be listening out for. And ZPX might be closing on Task because of this. Rebel is that flank. They can take out Rebel, but once again they go down. ZPX gonna find on the backside. Kata gonna assassinate White down onto the ground, and that smoke gonna come out, but he's getting knocked up, and now grenade straight into the middle, but gonna barely miss, and unfortunately not quite able to finish him off. Andrex will be finished off. Finally though, it will be Task falling down in that 10th place position, and just couldn't quite find the rotation game that they needed to with that northern rotation to make it back into the south of that game.
But look at the northwest area of the zone right now. We've got Incognito, SAS, and AMZ all within 200 meters of each other in this Bermuda Triangle of chaos. And which way will which team go? AMZ do need to push south, and SAS do need to push east, and Incognito don't really need to push anywhere just yet. They could wait this out a little bit longer. It does look like SAS might be maybe going a little bit further south first. Watching very closely on this northwest side. AMZ now making that move, leading the charge for AMZ.
Well, I'll tell you what we don't usually get to see is a rotation around this zone towards Cave, and RPG going to be taking control of it as they just wipe Gaza Grease one member down. Only a Chili's left to 1 versus 3 here, but Decoy is down, but it's not going to be enough. Legolas going to finish him off, and it will be now the side of RPG Rat Pack in control of this Cave.
No way. So Psycho right on the top here, managed to get 2 knocks onto AMZ. SAS really starting to deal the damage to the team they most need to, but Danny does go down. Where are the rest of AMZ? They need to pull up ASAP and help this out. Where is it? Friday rushing in right now, but is it going to be too late? Getting that rev in before making the push himself. Looking down there, Describe is getting the heal on Rebel. Hazy will get the heal too, and Matas throwing a nade towards the rock, but not quite going to reach out. Can Friday and Psycho finish this off, or will it be AMZ on top? It started off so good for SAS there as Rebel, unbeknown to the location, walked up that hill and got clapped. But now AMZ are back on top, all 4 standing.
In AMZ, they made those rotations with Describe to make it a 3-1 rotation, but Rebel gonna barely miss that grenade blowing up in their face. The tree gonna protect them, and nature serving its purpose. Friday and Psycho going to now try find a flank round, but Friday going to be knocked up by Matters with a quick flank with Hazy. A double rotation here onto him. A grenade going to try finish him off with a Molotov there, and Psycho now needs to get the heck out of there. Psycho needs to try survive is what we need to do, because AMZ, they win this fight, and this is where we want to see the domination from AMZ. This is where the kills starting to come on board.
It looks like Psycho might even stay behind a little bit and try and get the pin on them. Trying to decide which color profile to use as well. I've never actually tested any different ones, but with this new graphics, I might try out a few different color profiles. Realistic. I think realistic's pretty good. Here comes Rebel right on Psycho. Psycho. Oh, drop shot from Rebel. The whole squad's pulling up. Psycho does go down there, and that will be AMZ on top, pushing back SAS from catching up with them. But Incognito sitting comfortable here. The absolutely ginormous. That's the biggest M4 we've ever seen. And there it goes.
We're looking at the big guns now. Bigfoot, that's what we're looking for. But AMZ, they do control SAS out. And that's going to be the most important fight of this game, right? SAS down, but now opens the door for Incognito just below the hillside there in this compound. If they eliminate AMZ, this is going to be a massive win for Incognito and potentially on their way to that 3rd chicken dinner that we're trying to predict here.
Yeah, definitely. They haven't got any kills yet, and AMZ have started to rack up the kills on 4 kills now after wiping out all of SAS. They're going to be really happy about that, because SAS were starting to catch up points-wise, and if AMZ can push forward to the top 3 this game, it will keep them miles ahead, and they're going to have to really mess up next week to get away with being caught up with.
And this is where the rotations are going to come into play here. This next zone rotation here in favor of Team Clown, in favor of RAF Blue. But Incognito and AMZ need to make the rotation, need advantage on the positioning, going to go over to AMZ because of their fight onto SAS. And also on the north side, we're going to see Gunners make a rotation out of Quarry, finally down into where Rat Pack stand. And also, sorry, should I say, the side of RAF Blue stand here. And Mr. Rafali and also Torek, we're going to need to be careful. Unfortunately, Rafali has also been knocked up by the aggression coming out from Gunners, and Torek should be potentially to fall next if they can't find this revive. But Team Clown going to serve a third-party purpose for the side of RAF Blue. As now we try find the shots and the kills onto Gunners, but ZPX and the Incognito going to be the fight up north. These members near trying to rotate away into the zone. The Team Clan doing excellent work there. They rotate and take down with the help of the side of RF Blue, the side of Gunners, and that will be them falling down in 7th position. Nash going to take down Incognito. The Uzi spray from long range is going to be enough, my friend, as Osmeskis sniping down Snake Osmeskis from the floor side of this grass here. It will take them down, and AMZ now, Team Clan moving in, and it will be also the side of now RPG Rat Pack. We need to make moves up into this zone.
Really tricky for RPG to get out of this one though, and his Demon fires down. Legolas barely makes it out. Rebel ahead of the pack as always again, leaving this compound. Rebel getting away with his life earlier on with that surprise attack from SAS. So lucky that they managed to come out of that on top. And going to be pushing... for the zone push. I was going to say pushing towards the zone, but the zone pushed right towards them right now, so... The luck of AMZ in this game and the planning and the preparation to utilize that luck when it comes their way has been really good. And as Rebel rotates around the side of the circle here, in danger of being knocked and firsted, but also could get some excellent angles onto Team Clown if he can sneak up to them properly. There is Demon moving now. Demon going to send some shots out, or not? Where's Demon? Demon looking actually the other way. We're only just noticed Rebel now. Now it's going to be tacticals against tacticals, Molly for Molly.
But Badejas, look at Badejas. They've moved their way in. They're already downstairs into the compound. It matters in the scribe. They need to try flank round. They need to try assassinate Badejas before the vision game is revealed. And they see these grenades going in. They're trying to find a knock-up. It instantly will land onto Badejas. And they surround him like dogs and delete him from the game, and that will be Incognito down to the 3 members here. But Team Clown are not done, and they will take down Rebel and knock up in return for their aggression, and that will be Team Clown concerning themselves if they won't be out of this game. And Incognito, they need to make down the hill as well, though. They need to try find a way in this game, but also keep in mind 4 teams still alive. Torek's still in this game behind everyone else.
Rebel is a player made up of guts and glory, but it doesn't always go the right way. And like I was concerned when he walked out there by himself, he would be knocked and firsted. There go Incognito in 4th place, so fast. Team Clown just ripping through them as they get pushed in by the blue zone. And with 3 teams remaining, it's going to be Team Clown on the high ground, AMZ in the compound with zone. And then we have 1 solo player, 7 Torek here hiding on the high ground, but nades coming Torek's way, and that will be Goku with a Kobe nade, knocking Torek down. And now Team Clown have to make it from the high ground down towards this compound with the last remaining members of AMZ.
And Team Clown, they just absolutely assassinated Incognito from their 3rd chicken dinner. Dreams shattered for that team. And now AMZ in control of that compound, in control of the zone. But an interesting split here. 2-1 with Clown slightly ahead. Demon making their way through the rocks to try get some more vision and some more positioning on board. But an instant grenade from the scribe over onto Klaus. And that will be a knock-up that at 2 now versus 3 situation with Klaus not going to find that grenade and return knock up onto the scribe both from Goku, and now it's going to be Mattis low health as well, has he from behind. And with this revive from Team Clown, we need to get the heck into this compound because his zone is closing in. Phase 8 now, here we go. It will not be in favor of any team. It's going to be perhaps in favor though of AMZ a little bit more, but both teams need to step out of the game, and Team Clown's going to be the first to fall. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158 159 160 Demon spraying down here. AMZ trying to make their way through, but an instant return onto Mattis. This is just back and forth. Bigfoot is now Demon trying to make their way closer, but now low health. Does he have the health to revive? Does he have the time to revive? Goku also going to fall down. Klaus so low. This is where the grenades start to come in. The desperation from Team Clown. Can they finish off Mattis? No, they cannot. They're going to fall short, and unfortunately, still 3 members alive. Mattis still alive, and Hazzy now on the other side of this building, trying to find a little bit of poke damage onto Team Clown. That zone, phase 8, gonna chew through these players if they can't make it out of this rock in time. Goku's gonna run out of health. Another grenade come down, and Molotov now to try deny vision away from AMZ. As now Clown's trying to find a spray. Can they find it? They're so close, but Demon gonna be knocked up, and now Clown going to be Goku down, and now Klaus behind the zone, behind the rocks. 1 player into the smoke. Can they find it? Has he down? Describe next. Has to take down Describe. Will they find it? No, he won't. Klaus will be taken down, and AMZ take the final chicken dinner.
Crazy stuff, man. So that will be AMZ out on top there with a total of 9 kills. Team Clown there with 11 in second. RAF there, 1 kill, 3rd place. Incognito not quite making it to the top 3, but with 2 chickens, they're going to be happy with tonight's performance. RPG, 2 kills, 5th place. Ed Paradox, 6 kills, 6th place. Penetrate Gutters, 2 kills in 7th place. And there we have it, skimming through the rest. And that will be all for tonight. And you can come back next week for the final showdown of the Penetrate Clan Wars League. And we'll see how these teams get on in the final night and start again fresh the week after.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Bigfoot. AMZ, they brought it back, they redeemed themselves back into first place, but where the fight is going to be going into next week, guys, is SAS and Team Incognito, because Incognito, 2 games are still getting closer to the side of SAS, and they also had a better performance than SAS in that final game, so that gap going to be very thin.
Yeah, so I wonder what it's going to be like next season. I really can't wait to see how the first couple of weeks pop off, and I hope you can all join us there. And for the meanwhile, have a good night, have a good week, see you next week, and definitely see you the week after.